Episode 422, An Important Visitor. Although he was a very busy man, Mr. Cartwright did care for his son. He was also worried about the inherent danger of keeping someone as powerful as Alex waiting. He urged the driver to take him to the high school campus as quickly as possible. Ordinarily, Mr. Cartwright did not fear a confrontation. He viewed it as a necessary part of running the district. But knowing that Alex was an incredible fighter, in addition to being an authority responsible for guiding his son, stressed him out. He deeply regretted choosing to focus on his work over that phone call. He wondered what it was that his son had done that had made his head teacher call so suddenly. No one had ever dared summon him like this to the school before. When he arrived, the students were all in the middle of lessons. No one was waiting at the gate to let him inside. He had no choice but to stand outside. When he peered through the bars, he spotted his son through one of the windows. Lance had his head in his arms and had dozed off, drool sliding down his sleeve. The sight made him furious. 40 minutes ticked by in this way. When the bell finally rang, a substitute teacher poked their head outside to glance at him. But they didn't recognize him for the important political figure he was, so they took their time letting him in. Mr. Cartwright charged past them into the building and quickly found his way to the classroom where his son was napping. He descended on him with righteous fury, slapping him over the head and yelling at him to wake up and pay attention to his teachers. The other students of Class 6 stared at the scene in shock. None of them had ever had their parents visit the school, let alone get involved. And they had never seen anyone discipline Lance like that before. Mr. Cartwright yelled until he was out of breath. His shoulders heaved as he reached up to fix his tie and pat his hair down flat. "Now you are coming with me," he growled at his son. Lance blinked at him uncomprehendingly. In a quiet voice, he said quickly, "Dad, what are you talking about? This is nuts. What if somebody got a video of this and put it on the internet?" His father shook his head. "Doesn't matter. Get up." Lance followed his father out of the classroom numbly. Out of the corner of his eye, he spotted Eric watching him with concern. All he could do was shrug helplessly. He didn't understand what was going on. The students all whispered to each other in surprise and shock. "For a second, I thought somebody broke into the school. Is that really his dad?" "He must be. He yells like a dad." "What is he doing here?" "Did Mr. Ambrose ask him to come in?" They all exchanged worried looks. They had spent their years at Oak Ridge doing exactly as they pleased because they knew that their parents were too busy to ever actually come and check on them. No teacher had ever dared to try to set up a parental visit about their behavior. If Alex was able to get Lance's father, arguably the most powerful of their parents, to visit the school, who else would he be able to wrangle? "I can't deal with this," one said nervously. "If that's what Lance's dad was like, I don't even want to think about what my dad would say if he visited. My dad said that if I don't do well in school this year, he'll cut my allowance. If he visited today, I would be completely screwed." They began to feel real fear. Every time they thought Alex had finished exerting his authority, he seemed to find some new way to torture them. Mr. Cartwright led his son far away from the other students before whirling around and demanding, "What happened? Why did your head teacher call me here? What did you do? Did you break the law?" He feared the worst. He couldn't think of any other reason Alex would call him and demand a meeting like this. He had little fear for anyone else in the city, but with Alex, he wanted to play it safe. "Nothing happened," Lance lied desperately. "Everything's fine. I don't know what this is about." "Be honest with me." "I am," Lance cried desperately. He stepped back, trying to put distance between himself and his father in case the man became agitated again. Mr. Cartwright looked him up and down critically. "Then we'll have to go find out what this is all about. Take me to your head teacher." At that moment, Alex was in conversation with the principal. Billy had managed to convince the principal that calling a parents' meeting for Class 6 would be a good idea. And now, the principal was pressuring Alex to schedule one as soon as possible. A younger teacher poked their head into the room. "Mr. Ambrose, you have a visitor waiting for you." Alex guessed it was Mr. Cartwright. He was pleased that the man had shown up, but he wasn't going to hurry for him. "Tell him to wait." The teacher nodded nervously and reported back to Mr. Cartwright. "He would like you to wait, please, until his other meeting is finished." Mr. Cartwright felt his ears burning. He was rarely made to wait for anything, but he had come too far and had no choice but to stand outside and be patient. He wished his son cared more about what his life was going to look like after he graduated. Irritating someone as powerful as Alex was not a good way to get started in the world. Whatever the reason was behind Alex's call, Mr. Cartwright was already happy to believe that his son had done something wrong. He needed no convincing on that front. He was happy to listen and discuss the issue. But it was embarrassing, being made to wait, as if he was the naughty student awaiting a lecture. He shifted from one foot to the other, trying to look calm and dignified.